Hi guys, it's Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations, and I'm wearing my t-shirt that Kathy Whitney was sweet and ordered for me. It says, "If you see me with a seam ripper, now is not the time." I had shared it on Facebook and because I thought it was just hilarious, and then Kathy said, "I think Becky needs that." So thank you, Kathy. Um, So I'm done with Project Dress a Girl, and I'm sure some of you might be sick about hearing about it, but it's done for me. My dresses are on their way up to Maryland, and they may get there in time for the box opening on Saturday. I think there was supposed to be a box opening today, but I didn't see it pop up. But if you are not subscribe to Maddie, I'll put a link to Maddie's Sews channel, and so you can go over there if you're interested to watch the unboxing. They're kind of fun to see what everybody's made. So anyway, hey Pam, I have to look over here to see what you guys are chatting about, but I'll try to look at you as much as possible. So let's talk about what I can plan up for me to do now. I've actually got a notebook to make a list, and I've numbered it. And then I have little pieces of paper that are 1 by 1.5 that I'll write the numbers on and fold them up. And I'm going to put them in this little jar. And like when I finish one project, I'll pull another number out until we work our way through. I found so much success at the beginning of the year. I still have several of those projects left over from the beginning of the year of UFOs that I want to do it again, but with just projects that I have sitting around me. So that's what I'm going to do. Hi, Shannon. But let's talk about what the end of Project Dress a Girl looks like. I have kept all the trim-aways from the dresses in this bag. This type of stuff makes excellent soft toy fill. It gives a much more sturdy feeling to a stuffed animal than the polyfill does. So that's what's in this bag. Then, in these two bags, I just have random offcuts, just random offcuts. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to get some plastic storage bags, and I'm going to just create some bags. And if anybody wants a bag of these Dress-A-Girl scraps, I know Cindy has said that she does. Cindy follows me on Instagram and YouTube, I think. But she has put in a request to swap a bag with me. And I'm not expecting anybody to swap back with me unless you want to do that. If it's a swap, you send me a bag of scraps and I send you, I won't ask for postage. But if you want me to just mail them to you, I would really like it if you would, help me with the postage. I was kind of blown away and so thankful for Ruth at what they charged me to mail those dresses yesterday. I'm not going to tell you how much, but oh my God, the post office has lost their blipping mind. But anyway, I won't do that again. I won't be making that many dresses again. So that's the idea for those. Then this bag is, well, let me take this off the top. This bag is just pieces that are big enough for a small craft project, like makeup bags, pencil bags, crochet hook, organizer, tote things. And that's what's in here. And it's all fabrics that I used for Project Dress a Girl. But I also have in here, we recently had a sheet, had some real light spots that were starting to tear. So I just tore it into shapes. And I was thinking out of some of the scraps from the scrap bag, I would do cut strips, like 1.5, 1 3/4, 2-inch strips. Just make them all different thick strips, and then make some strip pieced blocks sewn onto the old sheet. And those work for all kinds of things too. Those aren't going on my list. Those are just, you haven't missed that much, Cindy. And I was just talking about, I'm going to put together gallon-sized storage bags of the offcut scraps from the Project Dresser Girl, like this. And I'll just do it like a mixed bag. For anybody that just wants scraps to play with. The larger pieces I'm going to hang on to until they're nothing but scraps. But let me talk about some things I want to do. I saw this on Pinterest, and it's the small knitting bag that you can put over your arm and knit, and the ball just goes inside the bag. So like if you're in the doctor's office or anything, it's real easy to move around. I'm going to make some of those for the remainder of my Monday Stitch group that I didn't make a bag for yet. So my idea is to either make one of these. This is what they look like. And I still have the knitting bag. I could make more of those, or I could make the little baskets that hang. Like this little basket. And these are perfect if you use rotary cutters or you have any tools or stuff. This could go over the knob on a bookcase, dress drawer, whatever. You could put up a command hook and hang one of these. In fact, I have one under my desk. I might put that one there. That'd be a good place. That's another option for me to make for the gals that haven't gotten something from me yet. So I'm going to put that on my list. I'm just going to put on here project bags for Monday Stitch group. Monday. Now the goal will be not to lose the list, because all I'm going to write on my piece of paper is the number and put it in my jar. So we'll put a number 1 on a yellow piece of paper. We'll fold this up half and then half again, and then just drop it into the jar. So this is just an idea. I don't have the fabric set up. Okay, this is a curtain that I thrifted, I think, last month. And what I want to do with this is I want to cut it down the middle. It's really, really long, but I'm going to cut it in half, and I will have to finish the cut side off. Because I'll cut straight down the middle, and then I'm going to shorten it because we have a small bathroom window, in the bathroom that we just finished. And I would like to cut this short to fit the window, and then have it in half. So if we needed to open the window, it's not a solid curtain across. And that's what I need to do with this. So I'm going to put bathroom curtain on here. Nobody can see in that window anyway, but just in case somebody was out on the porch when somebody was in the bathroom, it would be good to have a curtain. So that's number 2. So I'll pick a different color and I'll put in number 2. This is just a way to get me going on projects that I have here. I've planned these projects. And if I do this, makes me a little bit more accountable. And you guys remember, I did up a bunch of my UFOs. Hi, Janet. So I think I paid like $3.50 for this curtain, and it matches that bathroom to a T. So I'm going to fold this back up, and those two I'm going to set aside. I'm going to start moving this stuff. So this is the basket projects. That's the curtain. All right. Now, I'm got this in a bundle of fabric, and I used some of that paisley print and that was in the bundle with this for a project Dress a Girl, and there was so much of that paisley print. There's enough left. I'm pretty sure I could make a top out of it, but I'm going to hold off on that until I've got, like, there's projects sitting next to me in a box, and all of this came off the top of this sewing machine table that you can't really see, but it's right there. And I'd like to get these projects out of the way first. Oh, that's cool. Cool, Barbara. But this, do y'all remember the little pinafore that was in there? This is my size. And it also included the fabric for the skirt. So I'm going to put on here, they actually call it a jumper. So I'm going to put pins and needles jumper. This will be a project. Pins and needle jumper. And that'll be number 3. And we'll put that on a different color. And I'll show my jar when it's all full of little pieces of paper. All right. And it's one of those where that's the front of the pinafore. Oh, this way. And it's got a front and a back. And then there's got these strips right here that go on the bottom of the dress. You see the strip there? So this will just be a fun little thing to do. This is probably from the 80s, I think, because I haven't seen these since the 80s. And I think I paid, like, for the whole bundle of fabric, if it was $6.99, it wasn't more than that. So that's in the jar. Now, when I was cutting out dresses, I also cut out 2 5.5-inch squares from every fabric that I used for the dresses. That's what this stack is. So this is the 2025 Project Dress a Girl quilt. 2025 Project Dress a Girl quilt. Before anybody says, yes, I have a previous year's quilt sitting next to me in a bag that's not finished, but it's closer than this one. So what I will do, I need to put a number 4 in my jar. Fold it up. And what I want to do is I've got these still in the stack of the fabrics that went together. So the last dress I did was the paisley with the navy dots. Uh-oh, I froze there for a minute. So what I'm going to do is 4 patch blocks. For each dress. So there'll be a 4 patch block. And so That's the plan. That's how that one will work up. So there's that one. And I also have, this is not going to be like a completed top. These are just going to be a quilt project. I've already pinned this up. I'm going to call this one the Stone Chips quilt. I don't know how big this will work out, but I had purchased these 2 charm packs for like $4 or $5. And I've already got it pinned up. And all I have to do is run it through. So I'm going to put half a square triangle on the corners of all of these and then play with them. And I've used this fabric for the corner blocks because it looked like sand. And I know a lot of people had said, oh, use blue. And I could have used a blue because it's all kind of ocean themed. But I thought the sand kind of color would be pretty. And I've set aside this piece of fabric. I've ironed it so it's ready to cut, but I don't have a lot of it. I was just thinking it might be a nice accent on maybe a border in case I run out of my extra squares here. So that's what that project is. So that's number 5. Put that back with that. Now we're going to talk about some serious sewing stuff. So it's a couple quilts. And I'm going to put them back on the table over here. This little table I've got right here. I guess I will go ahead and throw on the previous Project Dresser Girl, but all I want to get done on that is applique the hearts in place. Applique hearts on previous Dresser Girl quilt. And I'll show you guys that. That'll be number 6. So we need to put a number 6 in there. And I think I will hand applique them on with a blanket stitch. I have, if I count, remember what we counted during Craft and Chat one day, 14 hearts to randomly applique, and each heart represents a dress that was made that year. So that year I made 14 dresses. That's why there's 14 hearts. So that's what's in this bag. And I hope you guys are still hearing me. I always like to do a planning session after I've been head down for a bit because I almost feel like I need direction after that. So here's the hearts that I need to applique onto that quilt top. I'll show you the quilt top in a minute. And I also have green strips in here for a border. And I've also done a pieced border using some of the strips as well. So there will be, the green will be like a, I call it a break border in that it makes your eyes stop because the border's all green. It gives you a moment to rest before you move on to the pieced. So I've even pieced the borders for this. So I just need to get the hearts appliqued on. And once I get the top all put together, I'll think about quilting it someday. But this is the quilt from that. And there you go. I'll fill the screen up. So these were all the fabrics that I used that year. I remember the dresses. I used McCall's 2004 pattern that year. And all the dresses were a bunch of different sizes that year. This year, I just made dresses in one size. Trying to make it a little easier on Maddie to sort when she's got so many people mailing dresses to her. So my goal for that over the next month would just to be get those hearts appliqued down. So I'll put that there. All right. These are going to be the things that are like an added project for a week because I have other things going on. Like I've got the crocheted tee that I'm not going to count as going in the jar right now because I'm just not going to. Last month, Fabric Mart was running a sale, and I had ordered in this watermelon pink and Chinese orange peach multi 100% cotton rose print lawn. So this is a very thin lawn fabric. Lawn is a type of fabric for anybody that doesn't know. I paid $4.80 a yard, and I got 4.5 yards. And I need to gently wash it and tumble dry it on low. But I couldn't resist it because look. And I bought it specifically to try my hand at a Vogue pattern. I have not attempted a Vogue pattern in a very long time. And of course, I'm not going to try to do one that's current. I'm using a vintage pattern. It's a reprint of a vintage pattern. And I just thought it was really cute. It's from 1939. And I just loved these little pockets like that. So we'll see. It actually shows. No, this is a different one. This is fine. I think I was going to do view B. I don't know. I've got time. B is more simple. It doesn't have lace down the front and stuff, but that's okay. I can do plain or I can add the lace down the front. And I just love the little pockets, though. I think I'll probably do A just for those pockets. I may look through my stash and see if I've got some real cheapy fabric. Of course, this wasn't very expensive, but I'm going to measure the pattern pieces and everything according to what I measure myself at, because I'm worried about those sleeves being way too tight on me. But I'll give it a go. This is Vogue 92-94 pink rose dress. Because I need to start sewing this fabric up. And I need some nice new clothes too. So there's that. We'll just do a number 7. We'll put a number 7 in the jar. All right. Number 8. You're going to think I'm nuts, but I'm in one size range and my sister-in-law is in a different size range, and she needs a medium and I need a large or an extra large because I'm taller, I'm wider across the shoulders, but Jane is little. She can usually wear like a size 14 girls. That's how little she is. So that's why I have 2 of these. This is the one I'll use, and I'll probably trace the pattern off. But at Christmas time, I was wearing my cat shirt that has the cat faces all over it, and Jane was just oohing and ahhing over it. And I said, well, I can make you one kind of like it if you want me to. And So I went looking for the pattern I'd used for that, and it didn't go down to a medium, and I'm not good at, unless I have the pattern. I could probably draw a pattern up for myself, but not comfortable doing it for somebody else. So before Joann's closed, they had McCall's patterns on sale. So that's why I got 2 of these. McCall's 8343, and I'm going to do this one here. It has a zip at the neck, and it has a kangaroo pocket. And I asked her, I said, do you want cats too? And she's like, no, I want dogs, because they're big dog people. I think they had a cat or have a cat, but this is for Jane. So again, I went back to Joann's when they were having a sale, and I got some fleece before they closed and left us forever. So this is for Jane, and it's a navy with dogs. Hi, Terry. So this will be for my sister-in-law, which is Scott's brother's wife. So I'm going to make this up for her. I'm really wondering if there's a way I can get her to measure her arm length. Of course, this has cuffs. So the cuffs might, push back okay. And I've got 2 different styles of zippers. I couldn't decide which kind I wanted. So this is the Jane top. That was number 8. Did I put a piece of paper in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, I need to put a piece of paper in there with an 8 on it. And then I was talking about this yesterday, that I need a black dress or something just to have in my wardrobe. So that's going to be number 9. And the fabric I have is thrifted fabric that we found at a thrift store. I might have to do some altering to the pattern, because this is a petite that is supposed to only go up to a 5'3" person, and I'm 5'5". I used to be 5'7", but somewhere I've lost 2 inches. I don't know. But I was going to do view B on here, this dress. It's a button-up dress, and this is just like a black linen, and I have a lot of it. I think it's a linen. It's fraying like a linen. But it'll just make a very substantial, basic black dress. So that's there. Ooh. And I have enough of that. I could make other things out of that. And that's all of the things I have. So let me see. I don't have very many things in my jar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need to put a number 9. In here. All right, so we'll shake it and see what's the first project going to be. I think I had gone crazy with the numbering. I'd gone all the way up to 10, but I have 9 things. I should be able to do 9 things before the end of October. So these are my plans from now through the end of October. We'll see how many I get done. And I'm going to fold this up and put it in here. So if somebody else was here, I'd get them to pull. Yeah. See, Bernier or Bern. I would love to see it. I'll have to see if I can find your channel. Are you on Instagram? I'd love to see your quilt. All right, so we're given the number 5 is our first one, and that's the Stone Chips quilt. So I'm going to staple number 5 on the side here. So that'll be my project to get me going, and I'm going to go ahead and date this number 5 as today's date, 9/17/25. So I'll start working on the stone chip quilt. I can put my list in the jar, and then I'll have it. So that's 9 planned projects. Now let's talk about the things that aren't planned. I've got one of my handmade crochet bowls, and I've just put some random crochet cotton in it. And periodically when I'm watching something, I make a flower up. So this is one style of the flower. And then this was another one. And I think what I'm going to do on the rest of them that I make, I'm going to start with yellow in the center and then do the petals in the multicolored. And I actually have some green and white, green, light green that I put in here thinking I'd look up a pattern for some leaves just to give me an idea of how they're made. So I have these as a little side project. These make fun things to stick in Happy Mail for people. Anybody could add these to, they could make a pin, or they could put them on a paper clip. So these go for anybody and everybody that's a crafter, sewer, whatever. So you could make a brooch. You could stack one small one on top of a large one and make a dimensional flower for in a journal. So I got those sitting here. I also have my my knitting bag that I made for some of the gals in my Monday stitch hour. But in here I have I want to tell you guys the pattern. It's on Lion Brand's website. It's an easy sleeveless top. It says it's easy. And Scott fixed the printer for me so it doesn't make lines anymore. But this is my tee so far. This is the front of it. And I'm working my way. And I did solid here because I wanted to. It's not supposed to be striped. It's supposed to all be solid. I'm the crazy one changing the colors. So like, I'm trying to see. It's hard to see. This is the underarm here. So that'll be under there. So that's how it'll be on me. So I'm working on that, and I'm using that thrifted Peyton's Grace 100% cotton yarn to make this. And I'm so proud of Vicki Messy Table. She has made not one, not two, but she's working on her third Benji Bear. I guess I'll have to show you my Benji Bear. And I'll try to remember to get the link for all this stuff. This is a purchase pattern, and I could not figure out how to knit because I'm a crocheter. I'm not a knitter. The sweater that the lady that did Benji, the pattern for Benji, she did a sweater pattern, and I couldn't figure it out. I just basically took her counts for a round, and then I just made this sweater up off the seat of my pants. So that's how my Benji's got his own sweater. He still doesn't have a name badge. I try to put a name badge on each of my creations that I have sitting around here. And I don't have any littles, so I make these toys for myself. But you don't fill him solid. You fill him like halfway and kind of squish it around so he's squishy. He's just huggable. And yeah. Carol, you're working on your arms for your Benji bear? Vicky's had one bear waiting on yarn, and he was missing an arm. I said, well, at least he's not missing an arm and a leg. Oh, Barbara gave leaf instructions. Okay, so you just build it up. I've done hearts like that, where you go around, but then you do a single, then a half double, then a couple doubles, then a couple trebles, and then you go back down to like a double and a single, and then a double, and then the 3 triple. And you do that, and by the time you get back down to doing single crochets on the other side of it forms a heart. So thank you for sharing that. Side projects. Yep. All right. I think that's it. Oh, that's all my list of appointments for the next year. Yes, I do cross stitch. That's another project. I thought I was done, but you reminded me. I do have this project in the works, and I'm really struggling because I'm doing this on a size 28, but I'm going to keep going with it. I'm trying to get the there's several people doing this in the hashtag FlossTube community. I know Lynn at Lynn Yvonne's 2 is doing this, and she's a lot farther along than I am. I made a copy of Nature's Journey Spring on my printer just so I could color in what I've done so far. And that way I can at least see on here where I'm going. And it's helping a lot. And I did buy this ring light with the magnifier on it. And I have trouble looking through the magnifier wearing my glasses. And I don't know if I take my glasses off if it would be any better. But anyway, this is how far I've gotten. It goes like this. And let me tell you, putting white onto this cream background and trying to see 2 threads over 2 threads. I know that Deb at Pug's mom, Deb, she tells everybody, Becky just does a little of everything. And I do. I do jump over, but I do want to finish this project. So that's one of those that I keep close by. And if I'm feeling like I can manage the size 28, because with this, you stitch over 2 threads sideways and an up and down, so you form a little box with your eye. And a 28, it's really hard to describe, but the bigger the number, the smaller it is between stitches. But let me show you why I want to finish this. I'm working on spring, and we're in autumn, and I already have the charts for the next couple seasons. But this is the square I'm currently working on. I can't wait to do the blue butterfly. And then I'll be at the halfway point when I get over here, and then I'll come down. And then in the next issue, they did summer, and then autumn, and then winter. And when it's finished, it is so beautiful. I know they had a picture of it somewhere. Give me just a sec. I haven't cross-stitched in years, and I just decided I want to get back into it. I keep finding DMC floss. I know I saw one of these. Well, this one, well, you'll just have to take my word for it. But that's the summer. And I've already printed that chart off. And then autumn just came. And I can show you it in color there. And then we'll do the winter. So I have my issues. I'm keeping all these issues together so I don't lose track of where I am. And I'm finding it helps me a lot to just take my red colored pencil and color in the squares as soon as I'm done stitching them. So before I choose the next color or whatever, I look at this and then look at my chart and color it in. So I do a little of everything. I think it's because when you work retail, you've got to be able to change. Every day is different. You don't know what you're going to do from one day to the next if you've ever worked retail, because everybody says, oh, you do the same thing every day. You don't. You do. So I'm just used to doing different things all the time. And that lives right there. So I have plenty to keep me busy. And I guess I'm working on the stone chip quilt next. And I've already marked the diagonal line. And my plan is, once I sew on the diagonal line, I'm going to put a pin in the part that I'm cutting away. And I'm going to run those little teeny squares back through and then just sew that diagonal on this piece. So then I'll have a bunch of tiny little half square triangles blocks to do like doll quilts and things like that. I do too. I love to stay busy. Today I mowed the front and the back lawn, and I finally got that tree cut, so I quit. I have a hawthorn cherry tree out front, and the mockingbirds love it. They fight over those little hard cherries that come on it, but it's so loaded, they were pulled down, and as I was mowing, I just kept hitting myself in the head. So I went and got my loppers, and I just lopped off a bunch so I can walk under the tree without hitting my head on the tree branches hanging down. Bye, Carol. Mary's got her hands busy. She says she's too busy to chat in the chat. So stone chips is my planned project. And then I've got my jar here. And when I get these blocks sewn, I'll come back and show you what I do with those. And we'll pick another from my list of planned projects. And I thought I'd have more than 9. But 9's a good number. 9's a good number. And you never know. I might get crazy and go wild and just grab one of the projects and just do it without drawing it. There's always that chance. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go, and everybody can have a 45-minute break before Devin comes on. And I need to go and see if I can find the links to everything I talked about. Y'all take care, and I'll see some of you guys tomorrow in Ann's craft room. Bye, guys. Mary, did you mow your lawn? I mowed mine this morning. Bye, guys.